sessions I was supposed to be doing with volunteering has been cancelled, so I am out here, of course, on London Road, where we're beginning the bus and train spotting stuff for the late morning. So with that said, without further ado, let's get on with the video, shall we? Of course, we go Alexander Survival 400 MC number 10760. And of course, where we are is just down the road from Stagecoach's bus depot, which is just off right down there. Of course, this is of course where the 94 and 94X comes through, and so does 97, 98. But from here, we would just check. There are no other buses coming down this way, so it is going to mean that I'm going to have to start making a move down the pathway down Great Western Road. Since there's no other buses that are coming up or down this road, so do this safely. So, of course, we head down this way, down Great Western Road, right up towards where, of course, it tunnels underneath the train station. So yeah, there, of course, you can see part of the railway station just down there, but of course, also down there, of course, is the humongous acres of land that is, of course, Gloucester Royal Hospital, which, of course, there is a lot. But as I said, all this road, of course, leads down to Horton Road's level crossing, which, of course, I did a few short train spotting sessions from there. But it is a bit of a dangerous place for an autistic 24-year-old human being to be, like me. So this is as far as we go, and of course all the way down there, of course, you can see, of course, the hospital all the way downwards from this area. So it's now time to head this way down the tunnel that goes underneath Gloucester railway station, which leads to the forecourt. Hello to Rudolf Schmidt. Yes, this is the UK, and I guess one is hello, I would want to say. But yeah, look at that. You can just about see that is, of course, a unit of a locomotive up there. I believe that's one of the power packs of the class 800 or 802, which would be on a Great Western Railway service. But what Great Western Railway service is it doing? Well, hopefully we'll be in time to have a look. So, of course, we are now at the other end of the long tunnel, right by, of course, where they've got the new ramp. Cool, that's nice to hear that you're from Deutschland in Dusseldorf. That's, I believe, I think it is part of Germany, I think. So here we are. Of course, I am from Gloucester in the United Kingdom. It's my humble home city, of course. It's quite small, but of course it's in the west of England. National Express Satana, Avanti 3 going across there. Of course we've got another one of those electric Utons, which I believe is either 73 219 or 28. So the trains we are seeing is the service to Cardiff Central, the Worcester Foregate Street, Bristol Templemead, the Edinburgh, the Cardiff Central, the Weymouth, and of course the Cheltenham Spa, of course, and maybe, yeah, and that would be where we would finish off, is the Cheltenham Spa one. But of course one thing is that we've of course got our next trains in the station here, because we don't just have the service to Worcester Foregate Street, but we of course have the Bristol Templemead. So we've got 800 007 and 165 135, in which the latter train I would have actually seen from, the latter train I would have actually seen from on the service to Worcester Foregate Street at 12:35, 12:36, I believe, because it has to go all the way down to Bristol Templemead and then back towards Worcester Foregate. And as you can see, the trains are starting to, of course, load up. So yeah, there we go. So class 165 has changed its lights. There's a train in front of the Cardiff Central service, which of course is a late train. But it did look like there was a lot of trains to be crammed, because of course when it comes to the service to Edinburgh at 10:49, it is going to be jam-packed before it then quietens down a bit, before the 11:09 Great Western Railway service to Weymouth, which I'm sure would be a class 166 network of turbo. Oh, there goes a Flixbus Heroes I6, just about. So yeah, there's the So there's the two locomotives. One of them is now starting to depart. That would be the class 800 007, which of course sounds a little bit James Bondish, but that was how it was when there was the Azuma locomotives, I think one of those class 801 to 802s had, no it wasn't, silly me, that didn't have the Bond branding. That was a class 91 that they renumbered as 91007. Silly me. I should have remembered that from the past when that was on the East Coast train. And then of course going to when Virgin had the franchise. So now with that train gone, there will be 4 more minutes until the service to Bristol Temple leaves. And I do know that at some point we will, we will get a train that may come through here that's actually freight, because usually I hear like a freight train, usually it has certain points. So just giving you a word of alert before it actually shows up. It's only 3 minutes until the train departs. So, National Express Italia 3 not in service, returning to its small depot that's right by Morrison's. Or it will actually be seen when it goes past, or that it's going back to the depot at the Bennett's coaches of Gloucester. So it will be going one way or another. So, the train's got 2 more minutes before it leaves. And yeah, I think it's probably this Bristol Temple Meads one that the cross country College Central's waiting for. And this is where, of course, it creates a little bit of a bottleneck. Oh, FR Willets, that's a right street light max, because that looks longer than the DF version. Oh, our female conductor is actually starting to flag the train ready to leave. Conductress, should I say. So, there we go. Brakes released. And off it goes. I think it was 106. Well, I don't know. I'm not sure if 165, 135 is last known. I can't remember. I think if I actually saw it before at the time I was with you know who, but I'm not sure. I think I've seen 165, 135 beforehand, or it could have been another one of the other ones. they're starting to call out the service to Edinburgh, but platform 2 is now being calling out the cross-country service to Cardiff Central. I see the trains, which of course this one is a cross A221 Voyager. Whoopsie, I hit that. Didn't see that. Oh. Sorry, this is gonna hurt a little. Whoopsie. That means I won't be able to do any running. Oh. Didn't see that thing there. That actually hurt a bit. Sorry if it sounds like I'm in a little bit of pain, because I am. Because that was a little bit of a nasty knock. Yeah, it's a 221-1, 221-107. I think that's what I see. But here comes the cross-country one. So if I put your hands together, 176.38, which is coming in at high speed. Another Flix bus has just passed by. Next time I will be looking where I'm going, because that could have done more than what it just did, than just a nasty knock. So I'll be very careful when I'm doing things. So of course, slowly and carefully we will go to the other side. Over there with the bus stuff, there's plenty of buses in Transport Hub, Alexander about 400 MMCs, including one that's on the number 10 that's just passing by and leaving. But there are others. It's a choreography of 5x5, the Transport Hub with, of course, those MMCs. We also got Alexander about 327, 778, and we still got a Yutong E12. Oh. So this is where the train's starting to leave. Sounds like it's leaving at quite great speed. So there goes 27,778, and there's also an 15,879 arriving in from Stroud. Ow. 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 Find me out those bars. It's like I'm knocking into everything. It's all like obstacles. like from the games of Split Second. That's what it feels like. So we are now back where we are. But of course the next train is the 10:49 to Cardiff Central, which this one would be a Transport for Wales one. But of course we would have had to watch it actually leave from this area. It's only a 2-coach train. So again, I'm hoping that it is a class 197. It will be coming down at this point because they usually do after the first announcement unless they're late. Oh, hang on, not just yet, but of course I'm sure I will see the train arrive in picture soon enough. Well, my pain knocking that metal thing has actually gone mostly gone, so luckily I'm alright. I think, to be fair, I have escaped an accident. As I said, you'll probably find that as probably a little funny fail, some of the slightly clumsy stuff I can do. But everyone always has a clumsy side, I'm sure. So, to be fair, not all that different. Oh. Fiat ambulance. We also have Alexander Sparfunge by Scania N230D 15879 now going. Now, oh, don't move. I see the class 197. I think I also hear conductor of that train. So 197,001, the first ever production sample of the class 197. Oh dear, I think I actually see a leak in the back. That needs to have a look at. The back coach in the gap there had what looked like water spilling out. Here we go. It's a 220 Voyager. Oh yeah, 221137. That's one of their 4-coach small 221s, that is. So yeah, the next train is supposed to be a terminating service. We're now shutting doors and ready for that train to depart on this service. Get ready. Off it goes. So of course this next train is it's a 2-coach train that's actually terminating here. That would be forming in the 11:09 to Weymouth. To be fair, that's not really many coaches, is it? For a Weymouth train, they should have been more considerate of people's how busy trains can get. And it being a long distance service as well. Well, I won't be moving yet. Alexander Svartfund by Scania N230D15871 once again. That one of course is now on the service 13s. You saw it I think early on, probably a forest service or a service to Newen. And it's now heading off towards So yeah, 10:55. The service is from Weymouth and then he'll be going back to Weymouth. It says this is the service from Weymouth, so this is the Weymouth to Gloucester and Gloucester to Weymouth service. But really it's not really being, because it's probably formed of 2 coaches, it's not really a good size of train for that matter. At the moment I don't see any trains just yet. But it would obviously be voiced over on that loudspeaker thing anyways. And I won't move because it'll be coming in only just a few minutes. As I said, I believe it's the Gloucester to Weymouth and then Weymouth to Gloucester and Gloucester to Weymouth. And it will be arriving at any moment. Rigid birds. Can you hear them pooping on that footbridge there? Oh, I see light. Here it comes. We've got a class 66 heading this way. It's a DB1. So in these rare occasions, put your hands together for 66 657. Calling steel. In Shimmins vans and BYAs that of course are still hooded anyways, because a lot of them changed to being open toppers. But yeah, those of course those 66-6s of course are low emission plus variants, which are have got a lower gear ratio and a higher tractive effort, which makes it go slower but haul more than your average train. But as I said, I have a standard variant turned low emission through hydro-treated vegetable oil. Have a model train of that, and that is 66004. I'm a climate hero, which of course is still a hero on my model railway because it's still the one that still works properly, made by a Cura scale. Whereas with low emission variants, it seems that Batman's the winner of that chicken dinner because they're the ones that seem to be these new generation low emission variants that seem to be the ones that are working properly. And from what I've seen on the web when people do videos and sketch low emission variant classic 6, I've seen that the Acura scale ones are not really that entirely accurate. It definitely looked like Bachmann, the new generation classic 6, was the winner there because it had the correct, because the grills are correct, the body shell's also correct, and all the and when I looked at all the detailing, just with all those pipe work and all that lot, all correct, which and of course all the lighting, as you know, is correct. But as I said, the only problem with those Batmans is next generation ones are tractive effort. So I have to use a bit more of lighter trucks in order to do longer, heavy trains. Anyways, here comes the train. It's 166 208. So yeah, network turbo. And this will be on the service to Weymouth in about 10 minutes time. So for now, I think it's about time to look a little bit more on the bus side of things until probably about 11:05. So might get enough time to visit the transport hub as well. Whilst we're at it. So yeah, there's all the buses all down there. So yeah, next train's the 11:09 to Weymouth, and then we'll finish off with the service to Cheltenham Spa. But it would be only arriving, not departing, I think. So yeah, now here we are going down towards but yeah, I found out that the body parts of the body shell, the Acura Classic 6 is actually slightly a bit too long and slightly a bit too wide as well. Well, I don't know, because the Batman's old generation has one just as long, but just as wide, I mean. Pretty interesting if you ask me. From the left we got 15355 Hamish McNair Templeton and 15360 both leaving. Both of them being Alexander Spartans by Scallion 250 EDs and 15880, which is now allocated back to Stroud from Cheltenham, because it was at Cheltenham at one stage. So yeah, there goes 15355. Followed by 15360. 15880 is now heading off towards Stroud. So we are now of course entering Transport Hub. Oh yeah, 15993 of course, Alexander Spartans by Scanion to 30D. Of course, that is the bus that they said in my buses magazine that it's been involved in a crash and it's backing out to service, but they have got the registration wrong, because it's not a late 2011 plate, it's a late 2014 plate. So we're now entering back into the Transport Hub for of course a little sweep before going back up to the station. We've got 10754 Alexander Spartans MC. We've got Alexander Spartans by Scania 15734. Got 37238 Alexander VAR 400, sorry, in VAR 200. And of course right there is a Yutong E12 number 73208, which is of course waiting for its next driver training duties. And I think hopefully in this screen I definitely showed, I think, enough to actually see the interior of the new buses that will be entering on active service in the 71 to Tewkesbury and North Way, and of course the routes 1 to Matson and the service 2 and 2A to Coney Hill and Upton St Leonard's respectively. And finally go ahead Pums right Gemini 3 Street Deck 372, waiting to go back towards Cheltenham on the 99. So now it's time to head back to the railway station, where of course we will continue on with the action of the service to Weymouth that will be departing very shortly. And yes, I'm actually now fine now. I can actually go back to normal speed, walking speed. So, of course, we've got some more bus sites on desk for 3 by Scania 28745. There's also 15638 bathroom by Scania. And then, of course, we also have Alexander S500 Scania 15357. Now that's all getting very full of diesels. 3608 Alexander S500 now heading in as well. That was on a service 351, which is that, I think it's that other one to Tewkesbury, that one. So here we are going all the way up. One more time towards the railway station. Oh, 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 oh. Blimey out. Those metal bars, yeah, they're really hard to fit in. So, yeah, there we go, the Thursday Weymouth and Cheltenham Spa one. I wouldn't need to move at all because they'll be on platforms 2 and 4 respectively. But of course, as you know, I've got the Class 166 Networker Turbo on the train simulator in first Great Western's livery. I only own a small amount on train simulator in the Great Western Railways livery, which one of them is the Class 43 high-speed train. So we now waiting that service. That'll be going in approximately a couple of minutes. So there's 166 208. Cool. We are waiting here because they look like they're having there's a load of conductors and conductresses that are actually having a final meeting or short gossip before moving on. So they have moved on now, and one of them is going to platform 4 because they'll be seeing the service to so head to HG Burden. Yeah, that was a strong take. So yeah, the train is now heading off back to Weymouth, where it was from. This is where when my last train is going to come, which is being called out on loudspeaker. But I think we'll be seeing a couple actually come towards us, because I think there's a platform 2 service to Cheltenham Spa, going at Cheltenham Spa only, but then of course you will have another one that's be a platform 4, But if that means that, then the one that's going to be on platform 4 would be the Transport for Wales service. Surely. Rain's starting to come down. The platform 1 to London Paddington. Train with only 5 coaches, and yeah, it's starting to rain. Typical British weather. Oh yeah, I can see it coming. It's at the far back. And it's starting to drizzle out here. Typical British weather. Of course, down there, of course, also an Alexander 300 right at the very bottom. Meanwhile, the Great Western Road Class 800 has just arrived, and it's got its coupling hook bay unit thing open. And we need to have another look at that thing again. It's another Alexander 400 EV that's just arrived. So yeah, it says 11:16 from platform 4. Another Yutong E12 has just come into Gloucester again. Could that be 73-215 again? I don't know. But yeah, it says it's running on time. It's 11:13. What should we do? Should we wait here? Yeah, I think we'll wait here. Well, actually, here it comes. It's actually a Transport for Wales Class 153 2-coach set. That'll be the last train we'll see. Okay, here we go. yeah, with this train's departure, it will mean that it'll be the last train of the section. It's already got a green light, so 153,568. That one. Sounds a little bit rattly. I used to have that train as a Great Western Railway model, but of course they were known as the 153-3s they were. Anyways, that is the last train we'll be seeing, so it's now time to actually make my move away from the railway station. Then we will of course do a final transport hub walk through, and then of course go up Clarence Street, and then that will be the end of my bus and train spotting session, which of course, to be fair, you all spoil. All of you will spoil. Actually, no, we won't go through the transport hub because we already swept through there. We just go down on this left-hand side here. Wait for it to say green light this time. There we go. Because it was actually empty, come through a little bit earlier. So there's the Alexander R400 EV on this side. It looks like that's 8230 again. Yeah, it's 8230 again. Of course, you also have Yutong 73208 still there, and a few others. 15351 Alexander Esbach from by Scania, and 250 ED. So yeah, pretty much quite a lot of buses there, and of course there's the electric Yutong, which this time will come at it from behind this time. There's no buses there, so we've got 15351 Alex Parent, Alexander Envar 400 Scania, so got Alexander starting into 27th Century 5. Of course the Yutong E12 in front is of course a little bit wetted over, so we will see what we've got. But yeah, looks really nice within its interior. Yeah, 73,215 again, which of course is right at the front here. Said try and get a good view for this, because as I said, it will be going down my Flickr page. Anyways, that means that it's three Yutons now delivered, all on driver training. You need to get to the right. There goes 2705 heading to Road. Alexander Bar 300. But yeah, of course, those Yutons have 2 wheelchair spaces, which actually equates to that same kind of amount of wheelchairs as an articulated bendy bus, which usually has 2. There's 15859, which of course will now be leaving on the number 8. It's a cover bus for another unavailable single decker. So speed followed by 15874. Outwards onto the. Of course, there are Alexander Svar 300 is like 27,711. But of course, I've heard that Gloucester's 27,712 and 13 are going to be converted to driver training vehicles because of the pending introduction of the Yuton E12s here. And there's also Alexander Svar 327,710, which is now waiting for the next bus service. And I have to go through this little gap here. Then finally Alexander Svar from Boyscani 15989, which is also of course now heading to Cheltenham in just a few minutes, probably in just a few minutes time. So final bus is Alexander Svar 327 708 now will be moving around this corner. And that's of course on the number 12 from Quedgley. So that about wraps it up for this session. I hope you liked it, which I'm sure you did, since there was a number of views. So with that, if you liked this video, remember to like, subscribe, and to hit that notifications bell so you never miss any future uploads. And also don't forget to look out for a couple of recent shorts that I've seen on the bus news stuff. Trust me, you haven't seen any videos like this. So with that said, thank you for watching my X-Files, and I will see you again next time. Slugheads!